cooking as a path to healing. Cooking is an art that involves all of your senses, and it can really help you work through emotional wounds. And today in the Waist Up Wardrobe studio, I'm interviewing a restaurateur and wellness coach who has designed a process by which she helps her clients heal through the art of cooking. And she's going to be here telling us about all the goodness that her process entails in just a minute. So you need to hang in there and stick around so you can be part of the conversation. Welcome to Waist Up Wardrobe. I'm Christine Vartanian, a civil engineer and attorney turned personal style expert and image consultant. As the founder of Jade for All Seasons, I am passionate about unveiling the inner confidence of my clients by developing their personal style. But is getting dressed up still important in our virtual world? Well, that's where my experience can help with what I call Waist Up Wardrobe. Waist Up Wardrobe is a podcast for all things you need to conduct an outstanding Zoom meeting. It's about how to dress for the camera, but it's not just about the clothes. It's about everything you need to know to show up on brand and professionally for the camera. Join me in the Waist Up Wardrobe studio to discuss how to navigate this virtual world and dominate from behind the desk. Hi, welcome back, Virtual Nation. Here we are at another episode of Waist Up Wardrobe, and I'm really excited about today's episode because we kind of continue that conversation around food. We had an episode last week with the Sauce Goddess, and she was telling us about all these amazing things that she does with food and her concoctions and recipes. And today we have an expert that's also in the food industry and uses food in the work that she does. But before I get started, I want to say thank you so much to my super awesome producer, Rick Moscoso, who's always here making this entire production happen. Thank you to you, the audience, who comments and is involved in the show and is always here checking out our show and referring friends. Remember, we're on iTunes and you can listen to us if you can't watch us. We're also on YouTube, and we are always here on Facebook at 11:30 on Thursdays, bringing you a new, fresh show. So with that, I'm going to say, be involved in this conversation. I want to hear your comments. I want to read your comments, and I want to be able to put out your questions to our expert and really have a dialogue around our topic today. So don't be shy. Throw some love in the comments, and let's talk about this amazing thought of an idea about the art of cooking and how it relates to our wellness and emotional wellness. So today we have a very special guest in the studio, and it's Maria DeRosa. And Maria is a culinary expert. She's a teacher, she's a wellness coach, and a restaurant owner. And she speaks a good fair amount in the addiction recovery arena, and she uses cooking with all those emotional therapy things that she speaks on. She was cooking when she was young for her 5 siblings, and she rewarded her high school students with feasts when they worked hard. And later in 1989, she opened her very own Italian cafe and catering company with 2 partners. It was in the cafe business that she developed her healing through baking as she was dealing with difficult partnerships and personalities, and she used cooking as a way to get through that and develop it in this very unique way. She's a certified Alateen sponsor. She's a speaker for Al-Anon, and she is a 2004 Businesswoman of the Year for the city of Irwindale. And today she's the founder of Ladies of the Kitchen, where she helps her clients look better and feel healthier and heal them and heal their heart through the art of cooking. So please help me welcome Maria DeRosa to the show. Hi, Maria. How are you?
I am great. Thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, I am so excited about our topic. We have known each other for a while now. We've actually worked together, and we have redesigned the fabulous website for you and for Ladies of the Kitchen. And it has been such an honor to work with you and to really see you develop and just learn about what you've created and just your journey. So I have I have all these questions I want to dig deep into, but I just want to start with something that will help the audience get to know you a little bit more on a personal level. Okay.
All right.
All right. So this is like a rapid fire, this or that question, and you're just going to tell me like what comes to mind. Okay.
All right.
So, desert or beach?
Desert.
Why?
I live here. I love it.
Yeah, you have a pretty cool lifestyle in is it
I
Rancho
do.
Mirage?
I'm sorry, I
Is
didn't
it
hear that.
Rancho Mirage?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, yeah, and and you're like a pickleball expert, and you have a pretty cool lifestyle going on over there with the
Yeah, and you can
food.
be at the beach within an hour. I mean, so hey,
Yeah, true. Okay, how about home cooked meals or restaurant meals?
home cooked.
Oh, okay. So you have a
I'm kind of a critic, so I don't want to go into someone's wonderful restaurant and be criticizing in my head. I want to enjoy.
totally get that. Okay, and finally, okay, vacations or staycations?
Definitely vacations.
That's what I thought you were gonna say because you've been, a jet setter lately and you've got some trips planned, right?
Yes, going to Hawaii. My daughter moved to Florida, so I get to go to East Coast a lot. Yeah, I love to travel and experience new foods and new people.
Yeah, I love that, and that is such a great way to kinda experience, like, different kinda different cultures, even within the United States, right? There's different ways of
Yes,
cooking within the actual states. So that is really, a great way to kind of also increase your repertoire when it comes to your gift of cooking.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I kinda wanted the audience to know a little bit about, like, your career and your background. So you started your career with food by owning a restaurant. Really, that's when you started it, like, in a way that is more professional. Because I know you have a background before that, but that was your professional start. Tell us about that a little bit.
So it was kind of like a stumbling block. And I think that that is really what happens to most of us. I mean, look at you. You didn't wake up as a teenager and say, this is what I'm going to do, right?
Yeah.
It evolved. And so I've always enjoyed cooking and baking from when I was little. Um, and what happened is that the man that I was married to for many years always kept saying, let's open up a restaurant. Neither one of us had a clue what that involved.
Mm.
But we both loved food. We both had great recipes from our family history. And finally, when the opportunity was like, if we don't do this now, we never will. And when you're young, sometimes you're really willing to take a risk, not having any clue where that's going to take you.
Yeah.
And that's how the entry into the restaurant business. So we literally went in not having anything except our own personal educational background and love for food.
That's amazing. That's like that kind of speaks to the entrepreneurial journey, right? It's like
Yes,
when you are passionate about something and you just go for it. It's like I mean, there is a risk involved, but it almost feels like you are like unbreakable. Like you will make it happen if your life depends on it. And so how
exactly.
long were you in the business, in the restaurant business?
Over 28 years.
Yeah, so that was a good risk.
It was an incredible risk. I remember we had two small children at the time. My daughter was just graduating from eighth grade, and our son was 4 years younger. So those are small children
Yeah,
still. And I remember there were times when I got to pay employees, I got to pay workers' comp, I got to do this, I got to do that. And we had barely enough for ourselves.
yeah,
That's a scary way to live for the first couple of years. But when you really want something to work and
yeah,
you're enjoying it, and it's like, if I don't do this, I will never know if I could have done this.
right.
It takes over. Like you said, it takes over.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really great testament to that entrepreneurial heart too, because not everybody has that ability to take that risk, and there's all that instability, but the rewards are can be very massive. And I feel like, would you say that during that time is when you really got that close grip with the cooking, with the restaurant business? And tell me the transition. Like, when did you start feeling like this is actually a very therapeutic thing?
That's a great question because most family businesses, if you study them, very few literally survive to the point that they are successful. I mean, and by that I mean they're making a profit, they're able to really expand their business. And the reason being is when you work together with a family member or more, like we had 2 family members, myself and our daughter, it's stressful.
Yeah.
Every person feels like their situation, their position is real. So what happened in my situation, which helped with the healing and the cooking, was my husband at the time, who was one of my partners, ended following a path of dealing with this struggle through addiction and alcohol. As a result, I had to find a way to deal with that.
Yeah.
I'm running a restaurant. I need to be professional. I want to help others enjoy my restaurant, but I'm dealing with this animal that I do not understand, which is a sickness, you know? So through the process, I found that I could release this anxiety, this unknown animal in my head that would go, what do I do? What do I do? But I have this over here, would all of a sudden heal when I started, okay, I'm really smelling these raspberries that I'm going to use in my pie. Oh my gosh, my hands, I'm getting out my anger when I'm rolling out the dough.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden what was hatred or anger or frustration or anxiety, all of a sudden just I would go, oh my gosh, I created something beautiful that someone's going to love. And I feel good now. And it would all be through this 1 hour or 2 hour. And all of a sudden the mind was just at peace.
Wow.
And it's just an amazing process that happens.
Yeah. It's amazing. I mean, I think what do you think that connection between the cooking and the healing, like, when did you realize that that is actually something that helps you escape or helps
You
you
know,
feel
that's
better?
I appreciate that question. It's a really good question because I actually had to do some journaling about that when you and I were going through your assistance with me on the website and branding, and I really looked at that and I realized in my life there's really been 3 times when that happened, but only once when I really embraced it. So the first time was as a child. I was the first of 6. My parents both worked. They were seldom home. And I remember specifically the day when my brothers and sisters came in, woke me up. It was a Saturday. My parents were gone. Our I guess you could say nanny, which was really our cousin who was a little bit older that stayed with us, was fast asleep. And everybody's going, we're hungry, fix us something. And I'm like, me, you know, and even though I kind of knew, but I thought like, I have that position now. And in that moment, I was able to create something for someone that looked up to me, which is my brothers and sisters, and it came out great. And I didn't have a recipe, it just worked. So
Yeah.
it was kind of the first time, and that joy, that appreciation. The second time was as a young adult and mother. We had just opened up the restaurants. As I mentioned, the kids were small. I had been teaching. So I was used to, prior to opening the restaurant, so I was used to being off with them at Christmas time. And I said, I'm going to be home with them at Christmas time, even if the restaurant's busy, even for 2 days, because this is what they know. And during these 2 days, the partner, which was my husband that I mentioned, was not doing well. And my kids were really feeling the anxiety and the stress. So I said, let's make cookies. Let's just make cookies. I don't know why that came to my head. It was just something, let's just make cookies. And we ended up throwing powder, and we didn't care. We didn't have a recipe, but in that moment of a half an hour of throwing the powdered sugar and getting that, we all just somewhat cried and we just felt better. And then lastly, the last time was just when I decided to do this, what I'm doing now, Ladies of the Kitchen, was when all this life of mine came to a head at age 60, which is over 10 years ago. So I'm going to be 70. At age 60, my dad was dying of cancer. I decided to leave the restaurant because this was not working with the partner. And I also decided to leave my marriage. Three big whammies.
Yeah.
And I just remember, how are you going to feel good? You got to be committed and go in the kitchen and bake a pie and make somebody happy because you'll be happy.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, see, that's like, it's like you were feeding people and that fed you. It fed your soul. I think that is such an interesting synergistic connection, right? It's like you what you created with your two hands, using your senses allowed you to heal, but it also nourished somebody else.
And
There's
that's
this,
the beauty of community, the beauty
yes.
and the health involved in community.
Yes, I think that's very remarkable. And so, this kind of brings me to something we've talked about in the past because we did some brand styling on your work, on your business and everything. And it comes back to that main premise I have, that I always tell my clients when I work with them is that your biggest gift lies next to your deepest wound.
Your
And I
biggest,
feel like you're like so your work is so demonstrative of that.
well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, that's where our gift is, it's like you experience these emotional things and tough, difficult relationships, and you're able to heal through cooking, but then also by touching other people, you were serving them, nourishing them, and healing yourself. I think that's just such an interesting concept, Um, so that was sort of your healing journey too. You kinda gave us that.
Right.
Um, Tell us a story maybe of a client or somebody of healing that happened through the art of cooking for somebody else that you worked with. Like, anybody that you've maybe it comes to mind, a client or a friend or somebody that really, you use this process to help them get through something.
Yes. So this just happened at my last master class. One of the things that happens in our society, the American society, is we're constantly on the move. I mean, we're probably one of the few countries that has fast food up on the top of the list, more so than other countries. So we don't have that bond with our food like other cultures do, where they actually have rituals and they bless the food. They know where that onion came from. They know the farmer that grew it. They have all that connection. So, what I did is I created almost like a blindfold moment in time with their food, and I covered it. And when I uncovered it, I had them look at it and not touch it. And I said, I want you to look at these three pieces of food. They were all plant based, and pick the one that resonates with you. And, but don't touch it. And after the whole thing, we went through a ritual where it came from, whatever. But this one particular woman, I never make anyone share. I never force anything. We just go through the experience, set the table for a safe community, literally set it,
Yeah.
cook together. And afterwards, finally at the dinner table, now we've been together almost 2 hours at this point. It's usually a 2 hour master class. And she said, I said, now at this point, if anyone feels comfortable, they can share. And she says, I haven't said anything all night, but I'd like to share. And she said, when you told us which one to pick, and then I realized what connected with me and where the history came from, because the history of that plant had a specific symbolic reason. The people, she goes, it was like her dad, who had been very abusive to her in the past, had forgiven her, and she was carrying all that. She didn't know about, she says, I don't know how that all had to do. Maybe my dad liked that food. I don't know. But I just know in that moment I felt better.
Wow. I mean,
And
that's so
so,
powerful.
yeah, and it was just through this little process of getting to know your food.
Yeah. Well, and two, I think too that your master classes are designed so you're setting a table, you're actually cooking something, you're enjoying the meal together, and then all these emotions bubble up and people start getting more comfortable, and then you do these exercises, right, that are emotional. and they
Right.
tie into the recipe, or they tie into the food, and there is emotions when it comes to food, right? I mean, you
Oh
hear about
yeah.
emotional eating, so there's like all this kind of stuff that is emotionally tied. Like food is emotionally charged sometimes. So
Oh yeah.
yeah. So it's very interesting, like some of the breakthroughs, right, in these master classes. And I love
Right.
that it's really at the pace of the person. It's not like, oh, now you have to share, right? It's at their own.
Right.
Yeah. So this is like so like tell me a little bit about um like how you've developed this. Did you have, are you did you get like a certification in wellness or something like that?
Yes.
Oh,
So I have done quite a bit of studying in nutrition. When I owned the restaurant, I also was a pastry chef there. So I learned a lot about bakery products, nutritional products, dealing with that. And then in the last 5 to 6 years, I've also partnered myself with a really good superfoods wellness company that I really like, that's plant based. So I put all that information together. But what I've also learned as a former teacher and having to deal with hiring and firing, people to come to the restaurant and be part of my team, right? I've learned there's a craft to getting people to appreciate you and you appreciating them. And
mm,
that is not something everyone can master. A lot of people say, well, I want to own a restaurant, but they don't know the first thing about how to even welcome their guests.
yeah. Yeah.
So that in itself requires social skills. It requires a good life coach process of learning the dynamics of communication, give, take, attraction, all that. So I'm also certified as a law of attraction coach. And
Mhm.
I'm in 2 weeks, I'll be getting another certification from I can never pronounce their name, but it's an actual academy that has a health and wellness certification process that you go through, and I'll be certified in that as well. And
Wow.
that'll be in 2 weeks. So I'm excited about all that because I'm always learning. You never stop.
Totally. I mean, that's that is the journey of the lifetime learner, right? We're always trying to get better and learn, and so we can serve people better too. It
Right.
really informs that. And I feel like feeding people too is kind of an act of love, right? I mean, that is, and that is kind of one of your values. It's the act of love, because you're nourishing them. But what I love about what you do and what's so unique that maybe you can elaborate on a little bit, where you're nourishing their bodies, right? Because you're feeding them, but you're also nourishing their soul because they're letting go of these negative feelings or anger or whatever emotions are negative, and they're really kind of letting it go, and it's through the food. So do you have any thoughts on that?
I absolutely agree with you on the love. One of, everybody says, do you have a favorite cook? Who's your mentor? All I do remember is I do have some, people that were always my go to. And one of them was Rachel Ray. All right. Now, one of the things I loved about her is she was kind of like all over the place. She didn't really follow any specific little, oh, you have to have exactly 1/4 cup. She had the 30-minute meals, which I thought was fantastic. But her go to quote was, if there isn't love as an ingredient when you're cooking, your food's going to taste like crap.
Oh,
And I just went
interesting.
like, yes, that's what it's about. You have to have that feeling and the connection. And I mean, have you ever picked up, even just like on the run, a bar from the store, and then you go, oh, this, because there wasn't that connection, there wasn't that love. You were just like getting it on the run.
Yeah.
But when you actually take a minute, even just to make your cup of coffee in a beautiful cup,
Yeah.
and not, and appreciate yourself and the coffee, it tastes fantastic.
Oh
So
my
there
gosh.
is
So
something
great.
to that bond of really putting your heart into and appreciation into what you're ingesting into your body.
That's so good. Even the cup of coffee, I totally understand that. It's just that the gratitude behind it. But that nourishing, I love this connection between the food, the nourishing of the physical body and the soul, which I think you've really done really well in your work. And I think you've really created these exercises that really create breakthroughs for people. We're talking real breakthroughs. So, as a restaurant owner, I know you just mentioned earlier that not everybody knows how to like really own a restaurant. And I've been reading a book called Setting the Table, and it's about the difference between service and hospitality. And that hospitality is a totally different animal. And like, not everybody understands that. And when you work with restaurant owners, because I know you've mentored restaurant owners in the past, tell us about that, that kind of relationship or in what you do for them.
I think one of the things that gets lost quite a bit
Yeah.
is our society has this kind of like hidden agenda of a caste system, so to speak.
Mm,
And so, like, this person in the restaurant's higher paid because they know more. And this person, oh, you're just a busboy. I never looked at any of my employees that way.
yeah.
I would clean the bathroom if it needed to be cleaned.
Yeah.
I would pick up a dirty dish. I never thought anything was beneath me or above me.
Mm,
And I feel that that is what's missing sometimes with people that come in and just go, oh, I'm going to buy a franchise, or I'm going to, I've got this money, I can do it. But they forget that the guy that's cleaning the toilet for them, where a customer may go in, or that busboy that just wiped off 20 tables carrying these heavy dishes, is probably so much more deserving of your respect than the chef that's plating out the food, because they're all part of the organization to keep it running and to keep it beautiful and welcoming.
yeah.
So, yeah, this is one of the things that I always will tell people that are thinking of owning a restaurant. I say, are you willing? I really ask them, I go, are you willing to clean toilets? And they go, what does
Yeah.
that have to do with anything? I said, because there may be a day when somebody may not show up to work,
Yeah.
or you get a call and you got to be the one that answers. Yes, I got to do it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that brings me to my other firm belief as a business owner is that I think one of the most important qualities in a business owner is humility. And
Oh,
I think to be humble allows you to say, I'll do anything and I will respect everybody in this company because everybody's part of this well-oiled machine. And without one of them, things fall apart in a certain department. So, I totally think that's such a great testament to this idea of humility as a business owner is so important for success.
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that carries across the board to anybody, even your basic entrepreneur that may only have one or two employees.
Yeah.
Be willing to know that you're going to give, give, give. That's the reason you're an entrepreneur, whether it's financial, whether it's of your time, whether it's, offering a resource that you alone feel is so special to you. No matter how much you give, it will return. If
Yeah.
you give freely and without high expectation of me, what do I get out of this?
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%. So I'm turning to something a little bit more like technical. Everybody has certain tools of the trade that
Right.
they love that they can't do without, things that they practice their craft with. What are the must-haves for you in your kitchen that you have to have that are your kind of tools of the trade?
Well, you see some of them behind me, but I happen to have some in front of me because I am in my kitchen.
Yeah.
And this one is a whisk. This one is my favorite. Your sauce lady would probably appreciate me because I love this. You can use it with baking, you can make it with sauces, soups, almost anything. And not only that, for you women out there, you always look kind of sexy with a whisk in your
With a whisk. Ah,
right?
yeah,
So
yes.
that's one of them.
Uh-huh.
Another one, this goes back way back, and I'm sure all of you know this, a rolling pin. And the funny thing about this is I actually use this as a disciplinary tool, not on my kids. I wasn't, don't get me wrong. I did, all I had to do was lift it and they would go, okay, is she gonna cook or is she mad? So it kind of became that, okay,
That
is
trademark
mom
Maria.
happy or is she pissed?
Talk
But
about
this is
emotions and
absolutely great. You can use it for crushing, for baking, for, chopping nuts. I mean, it's like a go-to. And
yeah.
then, of course, I think, again, but no matter what level of culinary expert you are, basic or up on the top level, you need a good cutting board. I go through cutting boards at least once every 2 months because I just fall in love with one and I use it for everything. And then I go, oh my gosh, it's time for another one. But this is mine right now, currently, that I have, and it's just wipes clean really easy. And I got it at, like, I think Target or Amazon, I can't remember, for like nothing. It was great.
Yeah, no, awesome. Awesome. I
Yeah.
love that. Well, we love to know what the tools of the trade that when we talked to Jen last week, she was telling us a knife, like the knife is her thing. She needs to have that really good knife and she travels with her knife. She does a lot of barbecue and stuff. So she's always, working with meats because she creates these sauces and stuff. So anyway, I love to know what the tools of the trade for each of my experts is. So, you create a lot of recipes too, and you've created a lot of recipes throughout your work and career. What's like really important to you when you're creating those recipes?
I like the quote, and I'm not sure if it was Julia Child or Rachel Ray, but one of them said something to the effect that the best impression you will make on your guests is not the fact that you did it perfectly, but
Mm.
the fact that you focused on love for them.
Oh, there you go. That's a love theme again, huh?
And it's true because your guests aren't going to come in and say, "Oh, wow, she must have just spent hours and hours. And what was that recipe?" Most of them are going to come in and notice the smell in the kitchen, the fact
Mm,
that you have this beautiful candle going on the table. Whatever your special touch was, that's what they first see and perceive, the smell and the sight.
yeah, yeah. No, that's really cool. Uh, I just this whole idea of emotions and food has been really powerful, I think. And I've a long time ago I heard about a movie called For Water Like Chocolate, I think it's called.
Yes.
And it's about how the cook, and I have never seen the movie, but I do remember somebody telling me what it was about. It's about how the emotions of the cook came out in the food. Are you familiar with that movie at
Yes,
all?
it is so true. And it's a very good movie. And a recent one that was a spoof off of that is, and I think it's on either Netflix or one of them, it's just plain called Heal. And the entire movie is an up version of today, people that have been able to heal their bodies and their traumas through good nutrition and food and their experiences. It's amazing.
It's incredible. What an incredible, like, idea, right? That a lot of people might not understand or never heard of before. Maybe they watch a show or heard about like a movie,
Yeah.
like that,
So,
right?
Christine, if I may say to our listeners here too, a lot of people don't realize this is a form, literally an art of therapy, because studies have been done, scientific studies, John Hopkins University, St. Jude's, and there's one other hospital that deal with children a lot. And we've all heard about how pets help with therapy, right? When someone's getting over a physical trauma or need physical therapy. But they found that children who are dealing with long-term illnesses and terminal illnesses, one of the best ways for them to heal and deal with the fact that they may die, can you imagine a child
Mhm.
having to accept that knowledge, is through cooking. They
Wow.
literally give them a means of releasing that anxiety. There's ways that it's a therapy.
Yeah.
So that's so beautiful.
Yeah. It's so powerful. And it can be such it could be something that nobody would ever think about, and then when you discover it, the transformation that can happen is powerful. So every show, Maria, we end with the Waist Up Wardrobe Weekly Wrap Up. And before I get into that, I know that you're offering anybody who puts the hashtag feed and shine in the comments, whether they listen to it now or on the replay, that you will reach out to them and you have a gift for them. What is that?
Yes, it's a one sheet, easy breezy. Life should be easy breezy, guys, right?
Yes.
On little simple AM or PM routine that you can do to connect with your food and you feel healthy.
Wow. And is that like a PDF that you will get
Yes.
to them?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So the hashtag is hashtag feed and shine. And if you're listening to this on a replay or anytime, put in the hashtag feed and shine, and Maria will get that to you. And the main takeaway here, Maria, if somebody takes one thing away today from this show, what would that be?
Wow. I would say the one takeaway is learn however you possibly can to have a connection with what's going inside of you.
Mm.
Because whatever comes and feeds your insides is going to shine on your outsides.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a restatement of you are what you eat. We've heard that a lot. But not only are we physically, we're emotionally connected to our food and the nourishment. So it nourishes our
Mhm.
bodies and our souls in this way that you've really explained in a very comprehensible way. So what's a tip you would leave the audience with?
I would say create something in your kitchen that is a long-standing little memento,
Mm,
so that when you go into your kitchen, whatever that long-standing memento is, it'll make you smile and you'll be happy to be there. So, for example,
yeah.
my sister recently lost her child during COVID. And so instead of a picture that would make her sad or bring back a bad memory, she decided to put a symbol of his fraternity inside of a heart. And she
No.
put that, and it just was this pretty little memento in the kitchen. So when she comes in, instead of seeing the face or seeing something of the memorial, she sees this fraternity inside of a heart, and it makes her smile, and she can have her cup of coffee.
Yeah.
So have some memento that is going to create a moment of, I want to be in my kitchen. I'm going to make myself a good cup of coffee.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And is there any tool that you would recommend for the audience that they can use to really do this, body soul connection with food?
Yes, I definitely say you do not have to be religious to do this. This is universal. This has been going on forever, guys. Back to when we were, and by we, I mean the human race, were cave people. There was a ritual, and it was simple. It was like, wow, thank you for this food.
Yeah,
Just say a simple thank you. If you open your refrigerator, just tell yourself, thank you, I've got a refrigerator. I'm now going to have my glass of juice.
yeah,
Or when you go to make, thank you, I'm able to have a good cup of coffee. Just a simple ritual of gratitude.
yeah. You're really
It's
good
going to
at
change
that.
the flavor. It's going to change the taste. It's going to make you feel good.
Yeah, you're really, really good and mindful of that. And everything that you do and say, when I see you on your YouTube and when I see you on in any of the lives that you do, you're really very focused on gratitude. And I think that's probably what makes you such a ray of sunshine and such a light in people's lives. I think it really shows. Gratitude is such a missed opportunity for us when we forget about it. It can change the way we take on the day. And I really feel that's very powerful. One action item so the audience can go right now and do it.
Oh, wow. For themselves, what I
Sure.
just was a nice little tip is easy to do. Go create your memento. It won't take long. Don't even overthink it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And otherwise, just remember you are like she said, you are what you eat.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's so true. Maria, I feel like there's such wealth of knowledge here, and like you are just so connected to your body and mind, and then just the food being such an amazing tool. And thank you so much for joining us today to tell us about your journey, but how that impacts people, and to give the audience like ideas of how they can maybe start kind of being more mindful of their journey with food, being more feeling the gratitude, but also understanding how it not only nourishes their bodies, it also is nourishing their souls. And Maria, if somebody needs to get a hold of you or they want to reach you, where can they find you?
So it's ladiesofthekitchen.com is the website.
Yeah.
Lunch, yay! And I also am on Instagram and Facebook. On Instagram, it's LOTK, Ladies of the Kitchen, Healing the Heart. So Maria DeRosa, there you go.
And we're gonna put your website link in the comments so people can live on the site when people are looking at the replay, and people can refer to it there. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
And
you for having me.
there you have it, the Waist Up Wardrobe weekly wrap up. And thank you for joining us for this episode of Waist Up Wardrobe. Join us next Thursday, because every Thursday we have a fresh new story, a fresh new guest, or a fresh new topic that we bring you so that you can uplevel your entrepreneurial life, your personal life, and your Waist Up Wardrobe presence. So join us next week, same time, same place, and tell a friend.
Okay, she left.
Okay. Well, we didn't tell her to stay on, so
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, you want to do your thing?
Yeah, just give me a minute to kind of get my thoughts together. Do we need to keep it live, the feed, or?
We do.
Okay. Okay, I'll try. Let me get
Okay.
Let's get try here.
All right. Let's see. Oh, hold on a second. And go ahead.
Have you ever thought of cooking as a pathway to healing? Well, in this episode of Waist Up Wardrobe, I'm going to be talking to a restaurateur and wellness coach that teaches us and has designed a process that she uses in her cooking so that people can heal their emotional wounds.
Very good. Very good.
All right. And then I have to remember what she said the takeaways are. I mean, I'm noticing is that on the recaps, like the quality of the video isn't as good, or is it just me? Like on the recaps.
It could be because it's a recorded thing, and then it gets compressed when I upload it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, by Facebook.
Yeah. Are you also putting it in the Google Drive, or?
I have been dumping them in there. I think I still owe you a couple, the last couple of episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But I just was kind of looking at a bunch of them because I was trying to pick one to put up, and I realized I just felt like our earlier ones were much better of a resolution, and I wasn't sure if that was something you noticed or not.
I did.
Okay. All right. So is there anything to do to fix that, or?
Yeah. Upgrade our equipment.
Oh, something I need to do?
Both of us. Yeah.
Like in terms of what, camera?
Yeah. Camera.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
We can talk about that later.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. When you're ready.
Mhm. In episode 107 of Waist Up Wardrobe, Healing the Heart with Cooking. Okay. In episode 107 of Waist Up Wardrobe, Healing Your Heart Through the Art of Cooking, we discuss so many things of how to. I'm going to start over again. In episode 107 of Waist Up Wardrobe, In episode 107 of Waist Up Wardrobe, Healing Your Heart Through the Art of Cooking, the Waist Up Wardrobe weekly wrap up in a nutshell went something like this. The main takeaway is that remember that adage about you are what you eat kind of holds true. And not only does the food that goes in you nourish your physical body, but it also nourishes your soul. There is sort of this soul connection to your food, and that can really help you. It can be therapeutic and can help you heal from whatever negative thoughts or negative energy you're experiencing. And a tip for you is, I can't remember the tip. And one tip that our guest left us with was put into your kitchen something that is memorable, that makes you connect emotionally in your kitchen. Maybe it is a memorabilia of somebody that you love that you lost. Maybe it's something that you're struggling with, just something that kind of makes you walk into your kitchen and feel that energy, but also be uplifted that you're in the kitchen. Use cooking to really to be a source of healing through that. And a tool is a tool that our guests gave us, and that is a tool, a PDF that gives you tips and tricks on how to use food as an emotional tool to healing. And finally, action item. Go in your kitchen and look at your kitchen a little bit differently these days. Look at it as not only a place where you make food, it's a place where you make food where this energy of your emotions kind of gets folded into your food. And think about how not only are you nourishing your body when you're cooking and serving others food, but you're also nourishing your soul.
That was good.
Was it okay?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me stop this.